Hello and welcome. My name is Michael Gill, and I'm the owner of Texas Senior Living Locators in Austin, Texas. In this video, we're going to talk about the assisted living segment of the senior living industry. While we will tangentially mention both memory care and residential care homes in this discussion, they are not the focus here, and we have another video on each of those market segments. Essentially, assisted living is an apartment building surrounding a centralized dining room with a meal plan, as well as with caregivers who provide help with activities of daily living, sometimes called ADLs. The 7 ADLs are dressing, bathing, eating, transferring, toileting, incontinence, and medication management. As each of these activities of daily living are all non-skilled services, assisted living is considered custodial care. In this sense, it is different from skilled nursing, which is for medical necessity, and is different from independent living communities, which are not healthcare providers at all. Assisted living residents generally need a significant amount of care. They are often fall risks and may have a lot of mobility issues. Probably 50 to 75% of residents have some degree of cognitive decline. They may have special needs, which not every assisted living can accommodate, such as special diets, catheters, diabetes care, wound issues, and others. The most common service in an assisted living is medication management, and the average resident takes 11 pills a day, and it's not uncommon for residents to take over 20 pills a day. From a regulation standpoint, there are Type A communities where each resident is required to be able to self-evacuate within 13 minutes in the event of an emergency, and Type B communities, where the community has to have ample staff to evacuate all residents who can't self-evacuate. Most often, assisted living residents can stay through end of life, and hospice services are welcome in the building. It is always a good idea to make certain you know when a community might ask your loved one to move elsewhere. Some buildings can't accommodate two-person transfers, and most won't accommodate transfer devices such as Hoyer lifts. Sometimes exceptions are made for end-of-life situations, but you should always ask the question because it is not a time of life when surprises are welcome. In Texas, a large assisted living community is defined by regulation as having 17 or more residents, but usually with 60 residents and larger. These communities are required to have a nurse on site for 40 hours a week and to have a dedicated activities director. Small assisted living communities are defined as having between 4 and 16 residents and are not required to have an on-site nurse or activities director. I have a separate video on small assisted living communities, including residential care homes. But let me note here that the primary differentiator between small and large communities is that large communities have more intellectual stimulation, while small communities may have better care and lower prices. There's a substantial overlap in the services assisted living provides compared to independent living, memory care, and skilled nursing. Let me give you some differences between senior living segments, just for an overview. You should watch my other videos for a more in-depth discussion of these senior living segments. Independent living, as I mentioned, are not licensed healthcare providers. But outside caregiving agencies may have an office in the building with 5 or 6 caregivers helping residents with ADLs. In a sense then, independent living can be thought of as assisted living light. Skilled nursing differs from assisted living primarily by who pays the bills. Assisted living is all private pay, while about 75% of skilled nursing residents are there because Medicaid or Medicare are paying the bills. Provision of ADLs are far and away the largest proportion of services performed by any skilled nursing facility. Skilled nursing is run on a medical model, and emphasis is solely on caregiving, not on entertainment or mental stimulation. Also, nursing homes can handle services assisted living providers are prohibited by regulation from accepting, such as ventilators, intravenous drips, feeding tubes, and bed-bound residents. Memory care in Texas is an assisted living license with an additional certification for dementia care. A dementia diagnosis is required to be admitted. Memory care has a lock in the front door for resident safety, and by regulation has more caregivers in order to care for this much more challenging population. Someone goes to memory care when they need more supervision or caregiving assistance than can be provided by an assisted living, or when a resident's socialization is not appropriate for an assisted living's environment. Pricing in an assisted living is a bit complicated and starts with a base price plus extra charges for caregiving services. Nationwide, assisted living is said to average about $4,000 per month. In Austin, a large assisted living community might have a small studio apartment for an average of about $3,300 a month, a large studio for about $4,250 a month, and a one-bedroom apartment costs about $4,900 a month. Average caregiving costs might add another $800 per month. Shared rooms exist and are cheaper, but they're not exactly common in large assisted living communities. Smaller residential care homes are less expensive and commonly have all-inclusive pricing. A private room averages about $4,500 and a shared room about $3,500. Rock bottom assisted living with services is about $3,000 per month. And if I try, I can spend upwards of $12,000 per month for the largest apartment in town in the most luxurious place with a balcony and a view. There are 55 large assisted living communities in the Austin area, and they have an average capacity of 84 residents. In small assisted living, there are 45 communities that average 11 residents. About 45% of large communities allow pets. Places for smokers are difficult to find. Diabetes care, when shots are needed to be administered, is a significant complication. The caregiving ratio of residents to caregivers is around 12 to 14 residents per caregiver in large assisted living communities, and around 7 to 1 in personal care homes. I hope this introduction to the assisted living segment of the senior living industry has been helpful. My name is Michael Gill of Texas Senior Living Locators, and if I can help you find an appropriate situation in assisted living, memory care, or independent living in the Austin area, please give me a call at 512-630-7133. Thank you.